Welcome to the Nordic Venture Show, your speed date with the hottest Nordic innovations and ventures. In this episode, our venture date is with QuantrolOx, accelerating quantum computing development.
Okay, let's unpack this. If you're keeping an eye on quantum computing, you know the immense promise, but also, well, the very real engineering hurdles. And right now, a major one is simply getting those foundational qubits to behave as they should. We're talking about a process that can eat up days, maybe a day or two for each individual qubit.
Right, just for one.
Just to bring it online, figure out its quirks, and, get it properly tuned. That kind of time investment really throws a spanner in the works when you're trying to build complex machines.
And what's fascinating here is that this isn't just like a minor efficiency problem.
No.
When we think about scaling these systems up, dozens, hundreds, thousands of qubits, these initial delays for each one just add up. A lot.
Exponentially, really.
Yeah, it creates a huge bottleneck in our ability to move from, let's say, theoretical potential to actual demonstrable quantum advantage.
Exactly. And that's the challenge that brings us to our deep dive today. We've been looking into QuantrolOx and their platform QuantumEDGE. They're positioning themselves as a key to accelerating that quantum future by tackling this qubit bottleneck directly.
And their claim is pretty bold.
It is, that they can speed up these critical early-stage processes by, more than 100 times in some cases?
Which, if we connect this to the bigger picture, that kind of acceleration could really reshape the field.
Definitely.
So we've gathered information from QuantrolOx's website. It details the QuantumEDGE platform and also looked at their press releases, some publications too.
Right.
So our mission today really is to dig into how QuantumEDGE achieves these dramatic speed improvements. How does it automate and streamline the development of superconducting quantum computers, make things easier, faster for the people actually doing the work?
The pioneers, researchers, scientists.
Exactly, those pushing the tech forward.
So let's get down to brass tacks and really understand the sticking points. You mentioned the time commitment, but can you paint a picture? What are researchers doing during those 1 to 2 days per qubit?
Well, that industry benchmark QuantrolOx points to the 1 to 2 days for bring up, characterization. Testing it involves a really meticulous process.
Okay.
Researchers are carefully setting up experiment parameters, running a whole series of measurements to probe the qubit's basic properties, then painstakingly analyzing that data to figure out how the qubit is behaving. After that, they have to iteratively adjust various control signals. Think of them as like fine-tuning knobs.
Right, tweaking things.
Yeah, tweaking to optimize the qubit's performance. It's very hands-on, very back and forth.
And it's not just about the clock ticking, is it? It sounds like this needs a very specific, deep skill set.
Oh, absolutely. The current methods, they often need a team of, say, 3 or 4 highly specialized people just to manage a relatively small system, maybe 10 qubits.
Wow, 3 or 4 experts for just 10 qubits.
Yeah, these are experts with strong backgrounds in quantum physics, a deep understanding of the control electronics involved, and lots of experience with complex experiments. So as quantum processors get more intricate, and the goal is building much larger systems, relying on that level of intense human involvement, well, it just isn't sustainable.
Financially or just finding the people?
Both. Cost and the limited availability of that expertise. This is why automation isn't just seen as, a nice to have. It's viewed as the essential path forward.
Okay, so the challenge is clear. Big time sink, needs specialized teams, slows down progress. Now, let's explore their solution, QuantumEDGE. What exactly is this platform designed to do?
So QuantumEDGE is presented as an advanced platform. It brings automation to those critical processes, tuning, optimizing, and crucially, scaling superconducting quantum computers.
Okay.
The central idea is taking those labor-intensive manual tasks we talked about and automating them using sophisticated software algorithms.
Right.
QuantrolOx claims this can cut the time for fundamental experiments down to mere seconds in some cases and simplify complex but vital procedures like randomized benchmarking.
Seconds versus days. That's a staggering difference. So the core is this automation engine they've built. And the goal then is that the people on the front lines, pioneers, researchers, scientists, can shift their energy away from the often tedious tuning to the more exciting, impactful work of actual innovation.
Pushing the boundaries.
Precisely. It's about redeploying really valuable human capital. letting them focus on the creative, the intellectually stimulating, the field-advancing parts of quantum R&D.
So how does quantum ADG actually do this automation? What are the key capabilities, the features under the hood?
It seems to be built around several core functions. One key aspect they highlight is the QPU monitoring tool.
Okay.
This gives you a visual interface, shows the architecture of the quantum processing unit, the QPU, and provides real-time updates on vital qubit metrics.
Like what kind of metrics?
Things like coherence times, basically. How long a qubit holds its quantum state reliably. Gate fidelity is how accurately we can run operations on the qubits. And various error rates.
What seems particularly useful is that users can customize which metrics they track and integrate this monitoring with the main control electronic systems labs use.
So you get a live picture of the chip's health.
Exactly. A detailed, immediate snapshot of its operational status. That's a big step up from manually tracking all those parameters and piecing it together.
Absolutely. Instead of running separate experiments, gathering data from different places, manually collating it, you get this centralized dynamic dashboard, live feedback.
Precisely.
Okay, so that's the real-time visibility. What about actually automating those time-consuming tasks?
Right, that's where the automation workflows come in. Quantum ADGE offers a library of pre-designed but also customizable workflows. These automate those foundational processes. Qubit bring up, getting it functional initially, characterization, understanding its properties, and tuning, optimizing performance.
So it covers the whole initial setup.
Yeah, these workflows use control segments designed for both quick initial measurements, like a rapid overview, and more detailed analysis for fine-tuning. They cover the whole spectrum, getting the QPU online, optimizing single qubits, even the critical 2-qubit gate operations needed for complex computations.
And it's not totally rigid, right? Researchers can tweak these automated processes.
Exactly. Customization is key. Users can tailor existing workflows or even build their own if needed. The platform also includes debugging tools crucial when experiments go wrong, obviously.
Of course.
And you can easily rerun workflows from where an issue happened, saving time in troubleshooting. The overall goal, QuantrolOx says, is boosting efficiency, improving accuracy, and enhancing the reliability of the hardware's performance.
That makes a lot of sense. Automate the repetitive stuff with high precision. You're bound to speed things up. What's the third key feature?
That would be data visualization. This tool focuses on making sense of the huge amounts of data quantum experiments generate.
Ah, yes. The data deluge.
Right. It streamlines extracting data from control systems, provides interactive plots for visualization, makes interpretation easier. This ability to quickly debug, gain deeper insights into qubit behavior, that's really valuable.
So it's not just collecting data faster, but understanding it faster, too.
Exactly. Being able to explore the data easily, prioritize key findings, share analysis instantly with collaborators, that speeds up the whole R&D cycle.
Okay, crucial distinction. Now, they also talk about benefits for different types of users. Let's walk through that. How does this help the pioneers seeking scalability, the ones aiming for really big quantum computers?
For them, the folks focused on large-scale, fault-tolerant machines, quantum ADG is positioned as providing that essential automation layer needed to move beyond smaller proof-of-concept systems.
Right.
As qubit numbers grow, manual tuning just becomes completely impractical. Time, resources, it doesn't scale. So automation becomes the only way to manage and optimize these complex systems effectively, to make them, as QuantrolOx puts it, ready for tomorrow.
What about researchers with smaller systems? Maybe not focused on huge qubit counts yet. What's the value for them?
Even for labs with fewer qubits, there are big advantages. It lets them run experiments much more efficiently, faster iteration cycles, maybe quicker understanding of their qubits, how to improve quality.
Okay.
And importantly, if they do plan to scale up later, the platform provides familiar tools, a consistent environment. It makes that transition less daunting.
And finally, scientists overburdened by 2 qubit gates. That's a very specific pain point.
Yes, and it highlights a critical bottleneck. Single qubit gates might seem simpler, but characterizing and optimizing 2 qubit gates, essential for entanglement, complex algorithms that can be incredibly time-consuming.
Right, getting them to work well together.
Exactly. And it often involves lots of repetitive 1-qubit characterization for the qubits involved. Quantum ADG can automate many of those routine 1-qubit tasks.
Ah, I see.
Freeing up scientists to focus their expertise and time on the much harder, crucial job of improving the fidelity and performance of those essential 2-qubit gates.
Okay, sounds like they've really thought about the different needs out there. Now, looking at their FAQ, some really practical points come up, like Do users need to be expert software engineers writing their own instrument drivers?
That's a really important practical point. And according to their FAQ, the answer is no.
Good.
Quantum EDG has integrated the necessary control electronics protocols. Users don't have to write those complex low-level drivers themselves. It lowers the technical barrier significantly.
That's a big relief. What if a researcher wants to fine-tune experiment parameters? Is that level of control there?
Yes, they offer user-friendly options. For common settings, you can adjust through prompts in the graphical interface.
Okay.
For more granular control, they also allow access to modify all underlying parameters through standard YAML configuration files.
Yeah.
So it seems to balance ease of use with flexibility.
Quantum chips have different layouts, different connections. How does quantum EDG handle these different connectivities?
They've built-in configuration settings. Users can define the physical layout, the architecture of their specific chip, and how it connects to their control instruments. The FAQ says you can create new connectivity configurations anytime.
What about trying it out? For listeners in research thinking, I need to look into this, do they offer trial licenses?
Yes, they do. The FAQ encourages interested users to contact them directly to discuss getting a trial license. Seems like they want researchers to test it out.
And when things inevitably go wrong in an experiment, what kind of troubleshooting support is there?
Well, they acknowledge things can go wrong for many reasons, but they have built-in tools to help users troubleshoot, identify potential causes. The platform lets users check measurement options systematically first.
Okay.
And importantly, once an issue is fixed, you can easily rerun the automated workflows, which saves a lot of time compared to setting everything up manually again.
Scalability is key. If a lab starts small, say 2 qubits, then upgrades to larger chips, is their quantum EDGE investment still good?
Absolutely. The software is designed with scalability in mind. They state upgrading to larger chips is supported, though it might need a license upgrade. They also offer support during upgrades.
That's good to know. What about using the same workflows across different control instruments? Labs have different hardware, right?
The long-term goal is definitely cross-instrument compatibility for their workflows across all supported platforms.
Okay.
They do note, though, that right now, some instrument integrations are more mature than others. But the direction is clear. Broad compatibility in the future.
What if researchers want to run really specific custom experiments tailored to their unique qubits or goals? Can quantum EDGE handle that?
Currently, for very specialized novel protocols, they suggest contacting the QuantrolOx team directly to collaborate on adding those features.
Makes sense.
However, they also say they're actively developing tools and interfaces so that soon users will be able to write their own custom experiments and integrate them seamlessly. So increasing flexibility is planned.
Okay, let's circle back to those impressive speed claims, more than 100x faster. To make that concrete, what's a typical time for running bring-up and single qubit tuning with quantum EDGE, assuming good conditions?
Right, the FAQ gives an estimate. Depending on factors like noise, setup specifics, initial qubit state, performing the initial bring-up and full characterization of a single qubit could potentially take as little as 5 to 10 minutes.
Wow, 5 to 10 minutes compared to 1 or 2 days.
Exactly. It really highlights the dramatic time savings possible, puts that 100x faster claim into sharp perspective.
Yeah, it really does. What specific types of qubits does quantum EDGE support right now?
Their current focus is superconducting qubits, specifically flux-tunable transmons, both with and without tunable couplers. That covers a big chunk of current research efforts.
And the physical control instruments needed, do labs buy those from QuantrolOx too?
No, QuantrolOx focuses on the software platform, Quantum EDGE. They don't make or sell the control hardware. But they do offer guidance, help users choose a compatible stack. They mention established providers like QuantrolOx, Quantum Machines, Zurich Instruments as examples of compatible hardware.
Finally, for a group ready to explore this, what's the getting started process like? How easy is it to integrate?
They seem to aim for a smooth onboarding. First step, check your control electronics are compatible again. QuantrolOx, Quantum Machines, Zurich Instruments are mentioned.
Right.
Once that's confirmed, you need a software license. Then, QuantrolOx engineers and scientists handle the installation. They estimate the system can be configured and ready for initial experiments pretty quickly. Maybe just 1 to 2 hours.
1 to 2 hours, that's fast.
Yeah, and they provide training too, so the research team can get up and running effectively.
That sounds remarkably streamlined. Now, we've talked about the platform, the claims. What evidence does QuantrolOx offer to back up these big speed and efficiency gains?
They point to several things. Notably, a peer-reviewed paper in Nature Communications from 2020. The title is Machine Learning Enables Completely Automatic Tuning of a Quantum Device Faster Than Human Experts.
Okay. Nature comms, that's solid.
Right. While it predates the commercial Quantum Eddy GE platform, it provides strong evidence for the underlying tech that automated tuning algorithms using machine learning can significantly outperform manual methods.
So the core science is peer-reviewed.
Exactly. They also list other relevant publications in journals like Nature Reviews Materials, NPJ Quantum Information. These look at related areas machine learning for qubit scalability, efficient measurement techniques. We can't dive into each one now, but it suggests a solid research foundation.
And what about more direct validation of the quantum EDGE platform itself, more recent stuff?
They highlight several recent press releases. One from February 2024 specifically announces quantum ADGE delivering those 100x plus speed improvements in bring-up, characterization, tuning. And more recently, one from January 2025 details a collaboration with QuantrolOx using Quantware QPUs, where they achieved fully automated 2-qubit gate tuning in under 25 minutes.
Under 25 minutes for automated 2-qubit tuning. That is striking, given how tricky those are manually.
Indeed. Their news section also shows ongoing collaborations, partnerships with Quantware, NEN's technologies, participation in consortia like Arcetic, the EU Pathfinder project Pheromon, work with instrument providers like Zurich Instruments, software firms like QPAI.
So signs of adoption in the wider community.
Yeah, it suggests growing recognition and use of their tech within the quantum ecosystem.
So to kind of wrap this up, it really looks like quantum EDGE offers a very compelling solution to a major bottleneck slowing down superconducting quantum computing.
That's really the key takeaway, I think. By focusing on smart automation of these fundamental but super time-consuming processes, QuantrolOx seems to have built a platform with real potential to accelerate the whole qubit development cycle. The claimed speed boosts, especially that potential 100x acceleration, plus simplifying complex tasks, it could genuinely have a transformative impact. It offers the real prospect of freeing up researcher time, specialized expertise.
Letting them focus on innovation and scaling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Focusing on the truly innovative, scaling-focused parts of their work.
Absolutely. And it really makes you think, if you compress these tuning times so dramatically, what entirely new kinds of quantum experiments, maybe even early applications, suddenly become practical? Things that were just theoretical before because they take way too much time. It really makes you consider how these kinds of fundamental tech advancements could fundamentally reshape the whole landscape of quantum R&D in the coming years.
Thanks for listening to the Nordic Venture Show. Don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for more stories of innovation from the Nordics.